Hey everybody, so here I am at a sect in Las Vegas. I got Kayla in the back over there. Say hi, Kayla. Alright, so I'm going to be recording a video about my final thoughts on Amsterdam. There's going to be a lot of repeat considering I shared my research on in Amsterdam, but just bear with me. Okay. So, initial thoughts, pre-planning of this trip was a little chaotic. I, feel like with the short notice of the whole trip that had a negative impact on it. However, once the sections kind of got solidified, um, the trip started to really take off. Um, Going to Amsterdam. I initially got onto Growler, which is a geosocial networking app, in order to start my research, which was, of course, looking at the decline of gay bars in Amsterdam. Um, so I talking. So in there, I um, started talking to two people. One named um, Mark, and the other one named Ted. They were very helpful in giving me important information. I wasn't able to get to as many gay bars as I would have liked to over there. However, I was able to get a good overview of the kinds of gay bars that they have there, which I will talk about in a little bit. The gay bars that I was able to go to were Taboo, Soho, Church, and Webb, as well as the Queen's Head. Um, Taboo and Soho were more of an open space, more of like a carnival atmosphere. Church and Webb were they were closed, so you had to be like kind of buzzed in to those locations. And then the Queen's Head was more of just like a watering hole type of place. Um, One of the interesting things that I found while being over there was I became very aware of my role as a tourist. Um, this played into some of my research with cultural tourism within gay spaces. So I think that this is really helpful for me to be kind of like the spectator of another culture and to see how it would kind of look from um, so, um, like I said before, the focus of my research was on the decline of gay bars in the United States. So, like we talked about in Amsterdam, there is definitely a decline. It has been occurring ever since the 1970s. However, since 2004, there has been a more rapid decrease, and I want to, find out the reasons for that. So, some already researched factors were the role of technology, so Grinder, Growler, Scruff, and those shifting attitudes towards and within the LGBT community, and then my interests are with cultural tourism and what kind of impact that has. So, with the geosocial networking apps, we see that since 2009, Grinder and the later iterations um, have become very popular. They both have positive and negative effects. There's a increased risk um, of STI, chlamydia, and gonorrhea, um, when compared to individuals who meet people in bars. However, the application is more open for anybody who wants to use it. So, this is kind of a relative safe space um, for people who would identify as just like a male who has sex with them, a man who has sex with a man. Um, so it broadens the base of the population of people who will use this and will be able to interact with other people. The other reasons why people tend to use these applications are that they are accessible, they're easy, they have control over what they do, where they go, who they talk to, for how long. Um, and then reasons why people leave is they don't see it as like meaningful. Um, Shifting attitudes, ever since 2001, the Gallup poll has been uh, surveying um, American attitudes towards the acceptance of LGBT individuals in America, and they have seen a gradual increase between 2001 and 2016, um, from very satisfied to satisfied. Um, and then finally, um, with the cultural tourism, that's something that I find really interesting. Just this idea that straight women are encroaching upon gay spaces on their own accord with these bachelor parties, with this phenomenon that I'm calling the bachelorette party phenomenon. And, a lot of people who are attending these gay spaces are seeing it as inappropriate. And RuPaul actually just had a quote. He was just quoted in um, an article saying that people who live in the mainstream and the status quo think that everyone is there to serve them. If they are going as a group of girls as a way so that they don't really have to go outside their wheelhouse, they're tourists. It's not really saying you are fierce and I'm going to respect you for who you are. They, uh, the gay men, are there as a party clown. So, my experience in Amsterdam, really reflected that when I looked at my role as a tourist. And during our um, tour with the underground, um, the tour guide said that, he mentioned about all the shops and everything, that this isn't Amsterdam, this is just a tourist. So that, made me think about how, if moving forward, um, what is if cultural tourism keeps on going, how is that going to have an impact on gay specific locations? And interestingly enough, I went to Woody's, or I went to the bike stop, I'm sorry, in Philadelphia on Wednesday night, and I spoke to an older gay man there, and he said that, there was a time where the only place where he could go was Woody's, but now when he walks by, he recognizes that that's not really a gay bar anymore, so to speak. It's more just like a gay-friendly place. So I have this idea of like a cultural museum rolling around in my head. Let's see here. Okay, so comparatively, in talking with the three men that I met while over there, so Simon, Ted, and Mark, um, they each had their own opinion on this. So Simon is an older gentleman. He's 72. He, often doesn't feel at place in like every single gay bar. So he typically attends the watering holes. Ted told me that there are like three different kinds of gay bars in Amsterdam. So first you have the open concept bars, which were like Soho and Taboo, which kind of reminded me of a carnival. And then we also have, and they're also more popular for tourists. And then there were the closed bars, or the not nice bars, as Mark, who I met over there, called them, where men and some trans men go for cruising. and those were the ones you had to be buzzed into. Very different from the open concept. And then last were the Dutch gay bars, which was where they would play Dutch music and everybody would sing. Everybody kind of sang along, and those are typically for like a mixed crowd, and then generally for the older population. They kind of reminded me of like piano bars, or like your local hole in the wall kind of bar. Now, Ted told me that four bars recently closed within the red light district. Um, Three of them were Dutch tourist bars, and then one of them was a cruising bar. Um, and this made me think about how, if this Vertruting that I mentioned in one of in my introduction, if this is having an effect. And Simon had said that yes, the government is making changes to Amsterdam, and they don't have to. So he kind of talked about it like stubbing your toe. So when you stub your toe, someone will look at you and say, "Why did you do that, you idiot?" So kind of like that. So they're making these changes, and the Amsterdam citizens are saying, you don't need to do that. It doesn't need to be changed. Um, let's see. So I also talked with all three of them about how these applications like Grinder, Growler, and such have a impact um, on the gay nightlife, and all three of them said that using these applications has definitely changed their nightlife or their socialization processes. So Simon um, doesn't really go out that much. He will meet people off of these applications. However, his comment was that a lot of times when they meet people, sometimes they're representing themselves well, and they're lying. Um, Ted said that he hasn't been out in a very long time. He had a negative experience with illegal substances being used in the bar, and he says that he doesn't want to go out anymore. He also said that he can go out and have fun with his friends at coffee shops or anywhere, because being gay is so accepted. He said that I can kiss somebody on the side of the street and nobody's going to bat an eye. It's accepted here. Mark said that he sometimes doesn't go out. He's very selective about the bars that he will go to, but he said that using these applications has definitely impacted his going out patterns. And then cultural tourism. Like I said before, I think that one of the biggest takeaways I have from this trip is the idea of cultural tourism on the city of Amsterdam, and putting this towards the gay bar, and um, what kind of effects that these safe spaces are going to have if we um, um, you know not regulate them just towards LGBT folk. So um, the future for this, I would actually really like to do a comparative study, looking at a city similar to Amsterdam within the United States, and talk about the perceptions of space. With There's research from Kathleen Faubert, who looked at intergenerational attitudes of spaces in Amsterdam within the lesbian population. I would like to do that with the gay male population in Amsterdam, but then also do that over here, possibly in a city like Philadelphia. The only problem is that it's larger in size. However, I don't think that would have an impact. Um, the other thing that I'm looking at is this impact of age on the population. So Simon told me that he goes to these meetings, these COC, which is a organization in Amsterdam that provides services for the gay and lesbian population, and he goes to a meeting every 2 weeks for older. For older gay men, and that's how he like establishes community. So, that was something that I would love to see over here. I don't really know that many nationally funded services that offer that. However, I think it would be important to do that, just for the fact that with the LGBT population getting older, I think that it is important that they tell their stories, and that the younger generations learn from them. I think that with the advent of media, that younger generations are getting their cultural history from the media, and we're losing that um, important transmission of culture. So potentially, I think it would be helpful to have some kind of a curriculum about, you know, telling stories between generations, um, and thereby, eliminating kind of like the cultural divide. So that's really about it. I had a wonderful time over in Amsterdam. I really want to go back. I had a wonderful time with all of you lovely people, and I can't wait. And I can't wait to watch all your videos. Have a great rest of your summer, and I look forward to next year. All right, thank you.